Yo, another day in the lab, baby. So it's always a good day.
Oh,
it's always a good day when we in the lab. You want policing to be better in your communities? The best policing that you can that can happen in any community are people that's actually from the community. And that
once again, Rick, host BNY podcast, now known as What Effing Week with BNY Dev. How you feeling, man?
I'm in here.
What's good? Comment section.
Here.
Do we drag our people down when sometimes they don't deserve it? For sure, absolutely. In this situation, this man deserves every single dragging that we can do, because this is not an example of us.
But you got the angles. You got the knowledge of the game, bro.
This is where you're getting at, the IQ.
Down. Like, he's telling you what's going on. He was a bad husband. He was just doing things his way. He's apologizing to his wife, like, yo.
Pat ourselves on the back for that one, because we ain't give yourself awards. I mean, who is?
Yeah, no boy.
Hey. Bonaparte, thank you as always. Love to see it. 3 podcasts in 4 days, working overtime. We are live. One time for BNY. Round of applause. Julie.
Ricky.
Finally, we meet on the podcast. We've been talking about this one for a while now.
Yeah. Actually, since May 5th, I believe, I approached you.
Yeah.
And we've had a few different dates going, and some things came up.
Yeah, we just been talking ever since then. So
yeah.
Back and forth, almost a whole month of June, just talking about different things, podcasts, and your appearance on here too as well. So
yeah,
I'm definitely glad to have you on there. Let me take it back a little bit, introduce myself. Rick Will here, BNY set guy, moderator, host, all sorts of things, audio engineer, whatever BNY Network needs me to do. And I have with me esteemed guest for the evening, Julie Brown, District 2, Charles County Board of Education. Round of applause for you too as well. Absolutely. We can hear you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Angela. And Angela, you got my email too as well. So, Angela, I'm curious your thoughts on that. So, hit me up sometime after the show. We can sit back and chat. Comments. Let's take a look. I see Commissioner Stewart flip out on Derek Terry. I spoke with Derek not too long ago. We talked about it. So, did you see that at all, Julie?
What happened?
As far as Commissioner Stewart and Derek Terry, their back and forth they had, or
I heard a little bit about that, but I'm not really sure what is behind it. So no.
Yeah, they basically kind of like a town hall setting, and they obviously they ran against each other back in 2018.
Right.
They've been having a little back and forth. I'm not gonna keep the whole podcast on that, but it was interesting to watch if you did Commissioner Forum. There it is, Commissioner Forum. So now Derek's in good spirits. He'll come on BNY sometime soon. We'll talk about it. So we'll say that for another time. We got Stacy. Stacy, what's going on? District 4. Looking forward to Stacy coming on the podcast eventually. Sometime after the 19th. I think we talked about the 21st. Stacy, if you're good with that, we can confirm from there too as well. Amanda, Robin, everybody, how we doing today? Laura, what's going on with you? Good to see you. Laura, I still gotta hit you up. I haven't forgot. I just haven't had time.
You're a busy man. That's for sure.
There's a lot going on, especially with it getting closer to the actual primary date.
Yeah, everybody's trying to get in.
Yeah, So we'll see. It's a juggling act. So
yeah,
Charles County got them.
I mean,
both hands trying to see what
you have a life. I mean, outside of this, it's not all you do. Yeah.
You see, I'm in the clothes I went to work with today. So as I was on Tuesday's podcast with Jamila. So no, but I do first of all appreciate for always being in the comment section for BNY. You're always just going, whether people agree, disagree, you're always there, just contribute to the conversation. So definitely appreciate that. But enough about me. Julie, how's your week been?
It's been good. It's been busy. Putting out signs, talking to people. Mm-hmm. That's been a lot of it. I've been on the phone a lot, talking to some people, putting out signs. I never realized the dirt in Charles County isn't much dirt. There's a lot of rocks. So putting in the signs took a lot of effort. And I'm honestly kind of a one-woman show here, so I was doing it all by myself, and I'm like, I think I'm tired. So,
It's just you by yourself out there working?
yes, sir.
Nobody else?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Julie, that's a lot. Just being a one person campaign team, but
Yeah, I funded my own campaign.
I appreciate
I'm
that.
doing the whole thing myself. Yes.
yeah. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. How's the response been for you on the trail? What have you seen?
Actually, people have been very kind, to be
That's
honest
good.
with you. I speak to a lot of parents. Many of them have the same concerns of the school system. They wish there was a little more transparency from the board, a little more information, which I agree with. It's, sometimes they don't know when a board meeting is or what's changed, what's going on. But I've had a positive response. I've not had anybody be very nasty or anything.
Yeah.
If they didn't want to hear what I had to say, they would be like, thank you. And I could tell they were done. I'd be like, thank you for your time and leave.
Right.
But it's gone fine. I honestly have not had any irate or nasty people I've run across. And I've knocked, like where I live, my community, there's over 500 houses that I've hit just there. And they've all been pretty nice.
That's good. And you know what? I like the positive vibes and energy that when people talk Charles County.
Yeah.
A lot of times you see online, can be super negative, but we can change the narrative. But it starts with us. So.
And a lot of times it's how you approach people. I mean, it's if you walk up with the right attitude and you just say, hey, do you have a minute? I don't force myself on. If somebody looks busy and they say, no, I'm busy, I say, I can come back. Or if not, here's my card. Take a look, and I appreciate your time, and I go. So a lot of it's your approach and your attitude.
That's good. That's great. Yeah, always stay positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Short life, got to.
You have to. Yeah, I've tried it the other way. It didn't work.
Yeah. Let's it's funny because I think a lot of us can relate to that too as well. Let's start with this too as well. Got a bunch of people watching, like the podcast too as well. BNY Network, give us a page like. It's how we grow. Also, please, if you could share the podcast so we can get out Julie Brown's platform today for the good people of District 2 back to back. Hey, I'm a little biased when it comes to District 2.
I'll tell you what.
That's also because I'm sitting here at White Plains.
I've lived in Charles County for over 47 years.
Okay.
Grew up in Waldorf, St. Charles, right back when they were building a Bannister or Wakefield in the St. Charles area. When they built Benjamin Stoddard Middle School. Back then is when we moved here. And I kind of stayed on that side. And I've only been in the Indian Head area for about 10 years. We never really ventured out of our little comfort zone, so to say. And after I retired is when my daughter, she married somebody that lived in Anjamoy and brought me over there. So being in
Charles
District...
County love.
Yeah. So I've been in District 2 for about 10 years. And it is I will say, Charles County is very diverse. Excuse me.
Don't worry. The mic can handle it.
I won't hurt you. Even just the areas themselves are very diverse. And I think that is a positive, actually. District 2 is nothing like where I was used to, being in Waldorf and St. Charles. It's much more populated, much more congested. Traffic is terrible. Now, when you get down to District 2, I refer to us as kind of like the redheaded stepchild that people have forgotten about. I hate to say it.
No, we've said it multiple times on here too as well.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it till I lived there. We did it at one point. We had a Safeway and a couple other things. We now have
I used to be at that Safeway. Yeah.
a Food Lion, a few Dash-Ins, and about $15 stores.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Oh man,
That's it. That's the only grocery store unless we go to La Plata or
I'm
Waldorf.
not here to trash District 2, but I think we could do a little better than that Food Lion in Bryan's Road. So.
Yeah, I was crushed when they closed that Safeway.
I mean, that's big.
And that wasn't all that, but it was better than Food Lion.
Oh, Lord. Let's get some of these comments, and we'll go from there. Stacy says, "Oh, we appreciate." Hey, Stacy, I appreciate you. All right, how about that? I appreciate you, Pascal. Jamila was fantastic. She was. Hey, it's a good podcast. Definitely happy to have her on here once again. District 2.
Jamila was great.
Yeah,
She really was.
It was a very fun podcast. Robin, thank God for people like Julie stepping up for the kids. Robin, what's going on? Good to hear from you. Angela got the same questions. We'll get to it too as well. Let's see. Stacy should have called me. I dig holes for you. Talk about your whatnot.
Girl, you have no. People were looking at me like, "What is that woman doing?" It was nuts.
Let's see. Angela, flat tires too as well.
Angela, no, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
That was bad. I was so upset.
We won't get back into that too as well. All right, so there's a couple questions here. We're getting to some platform stuff. I see y'all, but first let's set the scene. Julie, give us some background on you as far as I guess not really so much job history, but why you're running and what do you plan to achieve as far as school board?
Well, as I told you earlier, this was not my first. I didn't set out to run for school board. I was actually trying to get involved in the schools in a different area. And through my personal Facebook, some things I had said, especially during the COVID shutdown about the children and the way the education was handled and if they were going back to school, the entire masking thing. I was very verbal about how I felt. So I had people reach out to me that I didn't even know, asking me to run. They were like, we need somebody like you to step up for the kids and the parents at the school board. And I'm like, thank you, but no. And I was pretty hard no for a while, only because, as I told you before, after 27 years in federal government, politics can be hard. And that's the hardest part of all of it. You want to do the right thing, but there's a lot more involved. Once I got into this, I was dumbfounded. I'm very new. I've never run for office before, and I was very overwhelmed by how much there is to do running a campaign for any office. But anyway, I finally had somebody call and say, look, please run. We need you in there. She was determined to get me in there. And I said, okay, I'll do it, and I will do the best I can. And that's how I got there.
So let me switch off from this camera too as well. So essentially, you answered the call. Somebody you felt the need in the community, you stepped up and went from there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is one? I'm gonna get into some of these comments here too in a second. But what is one major issue that your platform focuses on as far as school board?
One of my major issues, I'd like to see the parents be able to be more involved. And I understand they can't be right now because of the COVID restrictions. Many parents aren't allowed in a lot of the schools. But I've talked to many parents, and they all have the same thing. They feel as though the board isn't as transparent as they should be. They don't get the information about open board meetings, when they are, where they are, and they don't feel like they're listened to at all. I also believe that parents should have a say in some of what their children will be learning or hearing in the schools. I think teachers and parents need to work as a team, not against each other. And I mean, my main focus is always on what's best for the kids. I've got skin in the game, and the kids are my passion. My kid, the kids are what I'm doing it for. I want them. I've seen a generation come out. I don't know what happened. and I really don't even know what age group it is, but it's a younger generation, and they have a sense of entitlement, a little disrespectful. I know when I was in school, we had a healthy respect for our teachers and administrators and principals, because back then they paddled us. I'm not supporting paddling. Before anybody flips out, I'm not supporting paddling at all.
So you make the Washington Post if you go.
That was this. We may as well end it here, right? I do not support that. But back when I was in school, they did. So, I mean, we all had pretty healthy respect for getting in trouble.
Yeah, if you said something crazy, you got your ass slapped.
Or they would set us out in the hall or in another area. But anyway, I just want kids to have a good quality education. I want kids to be taught that they need to respect people that may not look like them, act like them. I don't like bullying, making fun. I've told my own grandchildren, I said, if I find out you're in school making fun of any kids or bullying any kids, you're mine. I don't play that. It's not, and I just think it starts at home. Unfortunately, you have some parents that don't do that. They don't teach their kids that, and it has to be dealt with in the schools. So I do think kids need to learn to be respectful, accepting, tolerant, and, understand that there are people different than them. And we're all in this together. We have to find a way to cohabitate together at some point. And I would like to see our schools educate our kids, make them into responsible adults so they can be productive members of society post-high school.
I'm all for it. Hell of an intro, by the way. We're going to break that down like an ounce of glue, too, as well. Let's get to some of these questions. Linda. Oh, this is the first time seeing your interview format. You're so gracious and kind. Linda, I appreciate you, too, as well. Thank you very much for coming past BNY. Definitely appreciate community interaction. All right, so we got a question here. All right, so as far as GPAs, sports extracurricular activities, what's your thoughts on it? I know we got Angela here saying the school board failing to come to agreement. We talked about 2.252 as well.
Yeah.
On a past podcast. What do you think of that? What do you think of a solid number for sports extracurricular activities for our students?
I went back and forth with that one. 2.5 is average. I think that's a pretty average thing, unless you have children that are struggling. And I'm going to go for an example. My brother struggled all through school. He needed, special help. He was in different classes where he had needed special attention, but he was very athletic. And by the time he got to high school, sports were the only thing that kept him going to school. So while I don't think it's a good idea not to challenge kids, I can understand lowering the GPA to maybe 2.25. But I don't want to dumb our kids down either. I don't want to make it so we just, okay, here, we expect the minimum from you, pass, go through, graduate. I think I would love for teachers to find a way to engage children, to challenge them, to want to learn, to want to be involved in their education. But I do understand the sports as well. Like I said, my brother, that's the only thing that kept him in school. And he struggled. And honestly, he ended up not graduating. He couldn't make it. So I do understand it.
Right. So you are for 2.5, or you're for?
I mean, if you had to take it down to 2.25 for kids that are really having a hard time and need special help, I see both sides of it, so it's hard for me to. It's a difficult subject for me. I'd hate to see it go anywhere below 2.25 ever.
So
I'm not sure if that made sense.
no. It does make. I mean, this is your ideas, your platform too as well. And I know that's the big issue has been with, GPA, where it should be and whatnot. So let's say that you do put it at 2.25, okay, or 2.25. That's where we're at right now, 2.25.
Okay.
And let's say
it was
a
at
kid,
2.5 at one point.
I believe at one point, years ago. And if a student still fails with that, they're missing out on their extracurricular activities, their social engagements. What fills that time? So what I ask you is that what would you consider next to do as far as to get that student back on track, as far as board member policy?
I would consider a probationary period for them. I'd give them a chance to bring their grade point up. Give them some time. Maybe take them off the team for a small amount of time so they could work on their academics, or put them on some probationary period. I would not kick them off.
Would you give a grace period, like beginning of the year, anything like that?
Yes. Yeah, I would especially give a grace period when you're transitioning from elementary to middle and middle to high school. That's a huge difference. That's a big change for any child.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that would absolutely, I would give a grace period. And even in high school, if you have a kid who is strong in athletics and is struggling with their academics, as long as they're just not completely just skipping classes, blowing things off, and they don't care, that I don't have patience. I don't think that should be, if they don't care, then.
Right. How long of a grace period are we talking about here?
I give them a month, maybe 30 days to work with their hopefully they have a teacher that cares and that will work with them, and a coach that will accept the situation. I hate to see any kid get kicked off a sports team and they are trying in school and still struggling and need extra help.
Yeah, and my thing is that even with just sports, I mean, even with extracurricular activities, because sports teams, they're going to have their tutors, whatnot, but they could be kids just out there completely struggling that won't be able to meet their extracurriculars. So I don't want to leave a student out as far as that process goes as well.
Extracurricular activities are, I mean, they're important as well as your basic classes for a lot of kids. Like, not even sports. You have music programs. You have, I assume it's still called the Thespian Club, the Drama Club. I knew kids in school that were very involved in that. You do have classes outside of your basics that kids are very involved in, and it means a lot to them. I still think if they're not keeping up on the basics, they need to either be put on a probationary program, given a chance to see if they can bring it up, try again, and if it's still getting in the way of their academics, then I would have to say that academics have to come first.
No problem with that at all. Mental health in schools as far as our students.
Yeah, it's a problem. And I reached out to some, and I won't put names out. I reached out to somebody that had connections with people in power. I also reached out to Dr. Navarro as well, and said the kids that we saw on the last day of school before the COVID thing will not be the same kids walking back into school the first day after the shutdown, because we don't know what goes on in a child's home. And I think that year, out of everybody, children suffered the most. They lost the most. They suffered the most. And it's a year they'll never get back. So I think we had a lot of traumatized kids. emotionally confused kids, and I begged for counseling in the beginning to please address those problems in the beginning, because I knew they were I already knew it was going to be an issue after being off for so long, out of in-class learning. Many had no socialization whatsoever during the lockdown. And that's a long time, especially for younger kids. It was a big impact, and it fell on deaf ears. Excuse me, my mouth is very
Oh, no,
dry.
you're good. You're good. It's a podcast. You're talking a lot. You got to drink something. Speaking of which, I need to give myself a beverage sponsor for doing all this. Got body armor out here, just taking all the credit. No, you're good. Please.
And it fell on deaf ears. I think had we addressed those issues in the beginning, we may not see some of what we're seeing now as far as behavioral issues. I think we waited too long. Not too long. I'm not saying it can't still be addressed and should be addressed. I think we would have stood a better chance had we addressed it in the beginning.
So, as far as now goes, obviously, there's mental health issues in schools. How would you tackle that?
We need counselors. We need help. The schools need help. Teachers can't do it all. And then again, we have the budget issue. And that's what it comes down to. The bottom line is money. We need money for counselors. We need money to help the kids that are troubled. I heard I was watching a commissioner's thing, and he said that there was a mobile, I don't know exactly what he called it, but a mobile emotional support, counseling thing that I think the law enforcement officers may be involved in, that would come to the schools and try to talk to people. I also think that kids need access to counselors outside of the school, and I think children that come from a family of low income that are struggling should be allowed to get Medicaid, Medicare, whatever they get, to get the help they need. I know what it feels like to struggle through school and have emotional problems through school that are not addressed, because it only gets worse. And it's coming out a lot in the bullying, in the disrespect, the blatant disbehavior, the kids bringing stuff to school they know they can't bring to school. But at some point, there also needs to be, kids need to learn that there are consequences at some point. It can't just be a free-for-all.
So let's take it back for a second. So we mentioned counselors too as well. You said you like to see more here. I agree. I think a lot of people in the comment section will agree too as well. How do we attract more?
I don't know. I don't know, but I think professionals can see. If anybody professionals, especially if they have grandchildren, children, or any child that they care about in schools, they can see what's going on. So say you have a counselor's office that doesn't accept Medicaid, Medicare, or insurance, or anything. They should help. I just think they should help. They should be in the schools trying to help. I don't have all the answers, and I'll be very honest. But they do need help. Whether it be a mobile thingy. I think it was Dr. Cook that said that he had a mobile trauma unit that he was working on, or a facility for children to be able to go to, either based on your income, something, but they need help. And I don't know. It's hard. I mean, we expect a lot of our schools. We expect a lot of our teachers. We expect a lot of our administrative staff to do and be everything. But we need more counselors in the schools. We need more people in the community that care enough to reach out and offer help.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and a big part is attraction too as well.
Yeah,
because the help I think everyone here sees the problem. I'm looking at a comment here too as well. Let me scroll up a little bit. I think it was Laura. Did I lose that comment?
I think we need education on it as well.
Yeah, but basically she was talking about that. Yeah, we do need help down here. We've been, it's been falling on deaf ears for a while too as well. So,
yeah.
But the implementation of the plan is the big part too as well. And obviously, you school board voting on policy with with your members in Navarro will be a big part of that. So that's something that I would like to see at least a cognitive platform for that,
right,
to move forward with that, as far as even with the teachers too. So even though that's nationwide, obviously, but
it is a nationwide problem.
To do stuff to help ourselves here.
And I know that this year that I know the commissioners handled the budget, and I believe education was given the second largest amount budgetary wise. And I think sometimes that maybe they're not allocating the budget appropriately. Maybe take some from something else and put it into counseling.
Look at this comment here. There's what I was looking for Laura. We have been addressing social and emotional learning from day one. I'm confused about the needs falling on deaf ears. Laura, tell me what you've seen. I'm curious. I want to hear your side of things too as well. Let's get to some comments. Michael Leftwich, Mr. Leftwich, how you doing today? Vocational education. What's your ideas on that or thoughts on it?
We need it. I'm a huge advocate for vocational programs. Not every child wants or can go to college. And trades can make a great career. Mm-hmm. And actually, this county is pretty trade-oriented. A lot of people I know are either in the plumbers union, the electrical union, the carpenters union. So there are a lot of trades. I think we could use a great vocational program.
Yeah, and
I don't think and I know we have the STEM and the CTE and the technology and stuff like that, and I think that's great as well. But I don't think we have a real trades program like we used to, like where Robert Steedham was our old Votech, where you did learn different trades, and we don't have a facility like that anymore.
Yeah, and not to mention, I mean, not everybody's going. Everybody knows this. Not everybody's going to college after high school. No. So if there's an ability for someone to come out, and not to mention, you're making in a couple of years, you can make some decent money.
They make darn good money.
21-year-old.
Trust me.
They're doing well.
My daughter's father. I mean, we got. I was very young when I had my daughter. We were both very young, and he got in the plumbers union, and he's doing pretty good for himself.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I know a few of them out here. We trade rounds at PTM. It's great, fantastic. I love to see it, but I love to see also the work they do in the community too as well. You have a skill like that.
And I also think you
can build a business around it, all sorts of things.
Sure, and I think it would be a great idea for businesses. You have a lot of small trades businesses. Let high school kids come and be helpers or help them around them, show them the way, how this works, how that goes, how to be an electrician. They could use the help, and maybe it could count as credits towards some of their classes. I think there's a lot of ways the community could get involved to help the kids in the schools. I think if we could look at this as a community, as a whole approach, we might be better off.
Hey, look, I've said it once. I'll say it to people stop listening to me. I'm more than willing to get a part of this curriculum too as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of audio visual that we could teach here at BNY. Hey, throw my name in the hat. I don't know who I got to talk to. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
So,
and I completely agree. I mean, if somebody wants to be a chef or work in a restaurant, God knows Charles County's got plenty of restaurants. Hire a kid. You don't even have to pay them. Let them work. Let the schools allow it to be some kind of a credit towards an extracurricular class.
I'm all for it. I'm all for the community coming together to, what they say? It takes a village to raise a child.
It does take a village to raise a child.
Got to build a village up. Let's see. There's a question here, Brittany. I want to get to it. As far as, what's your thoughts, I just completely missed it. What's your thoughts on teaching government civics, like in 11th, 12th grade, a heavy emphasis on it?
What do you mean by government civics?
Like local politics, government, U.S. government.
Yes, 100%. I don't see why not. I think people should know how the government works. I think we would have more informed voters.
I got a question with that too as well. So comment section, clean this up for me too as well. Is that not something that's being done now? I'm just reading the question as it comes in, but
I don't know.
I'm highly curious. That sounds like something that should already just be in place. But if it's not, educate
I also
please.
Don't know if they have because we didn't have it in school. I think they should teach finances as well in high school.
There's courses of that, how robust they are. I mean, I'm not currently a high school teacher, but comment section once again, please let me know. It's Karen. Karen, what's going on with you? It's taught in 9th grade, and is it taught in just 9th grade only? Like, is that not offered? Is it just like an entry high school course, or is it? I'm curious. Give me some more background on that. I'm highly curious. Robin, there it is. I think the question was about moving the civics class regarding American government to the senior year versus the freshman year. I don't know. Senior year is kind of like I'm about to get up out of here.
Yeah,
if you get a graduation requirement, then
I know by the time I was a senior, because back then you had to have 4 years of English, and then I think 3 years of math, and you could do a half a day work, whatever. Most people chose to leave the half a day and go find a job. Mm-hmm. By the time you're a senior, you think you know everything anyway, and you're ready to go. Although I think 9th grade, I think it shouldn't just be in 9th grade. I think maybe it should be 9th and 10th grade. As I said, 9th grade, you're still transitioning. That's your first year from middle school, and that's a big jump from middle school to high school. So I think 9th grade is still a transitional year. So I would teach it 9th grade, but I also extended it to 10th as well.
Yeah, I would like to, local politics is very important. I mean, it's one of the reasons why we do this.
Yeah.
Is to try our best to educate the public with the help of yourself and comment section too.
And not just for local government, for national. News. I mean, when you vote for your local officials, and even on a national level, you have some very ill-informed voters because they don't know how it works. They don't know how politics work. They don't know who's who or what they do.
This is very true. Now, I'm not gonna go into that. I was gonna say something else, but yes, absolutely.
You can.
Yeah, but as far, high school is not just. Yeah, I would like to see. Personally, if I can, I like to see 4 years of it.
I don't disagree with you.
Like a very expanded government course.
I think it's
that builds
taken
upon itself. Someone who said this, man, 4 years of math now. Why not 4 years of government?
Yeah. I don't disagree with you at all, because if we don't have people that understand how our government works, we don't have very informed voters.
No, not at all. Amanda says, my son just took it as a junior.
That's good.
Interesting. All right, let me get some more questions here too as well. Y'all keep having this conversation. This is good. Pascal, what's going on with you? Always good to have you in the comments section. What are some innovative ways you hope to transform our education system?
As a whole?
Yeah. Talk. I guess you have a little more to your platform too as well.
I don't know. I thought the politics discussion was very interesting.
What's up, Derek?
Let's see, where should I start here? I think our education system, we need good teachers. I mean, we need some qualified, caring, good teachers, and we need
some good teachers here.
We do,
yeah.
But we're also losing some.
Nationwide. Absolutely.
Nationwide, absolutely, and we need to keep our teachers. I had good teachers. I had bad teachers in school. Education, I think, in a child's life, academically, like I said, you need to learn and not just be you can't compete on a nationwide level or a world stage, with a subpar education. You not in this day and age. Mm-hmm. So I think strong reading, writing, math, science, politics, finances, all of it. I think we need a strong academic base in our schools, and I don't think it used to be pushed off to high school. I think now we can start it even earlier in middle school.
So, I agree with that. I think everybody here would agree with that too, as well. Strong academic base. Now, as far as policy-wise, what would you do to enact this? Obviously, reading levels aren't that great. So, expand more on Pascal's question. What type of new ideas could you bring to the board? Linda, tell me more of that story too, as well, in the comment section if you could. I'm curious. Go ahead, Julie.
There's a few things, because I've seen it change through the years. For example, the way they teach children how to read, the way they're teaching math, has changed through the years. I have a grandson who is in second grade, and I watched him do his math homework, and it went sideways. And I'm like, how do you? Because I still would do my math down, carry the one over and things like that. Mm-hmm. And they have sight words now. They're teaching reading with sight words versus sounding the word, sounding. So I don't.
They still sound the word. They still sound words.
They sound words out, but sight words. I don't know. I don't know if
I will say this though. Sight words, like with my two young ones, we teach them to read.
Yeah.
We would just go. They had a sheet every quarter.
Yes.
And then from their sounds, they'll build on that.
Yeah.
And then they'll be able to put the words together. And actually, I thought it was phenomenal.
It is helpful. I didn't like it at first. I'll be very honest with you, because my grandson struggled with reading, and he had help. He needed extra help. And then once he got the concept of the sight words and the sounding out of words, it made a huge difference. And I think most of the kids are still behind because of the shutdown, but he is doing much better. So education needs to include, it just needs to be, we need a strong basic academic education along with a strong social, economical education. And I'm not really sure that made much sense the way I said it, but kids need to be taught about different cultures, different ways of life, how different people live. I think they need to be taught, even in our own area, there's a lot of history here that our kids have no idea about. And I think maybe that they should do that. There's stuff here that I didn't know about, and I've been here forever. I just think there should be more outreach. I think there should be thinking outside of the box, just not the way we've been doing things. I'm not a teacher. I have not been in the school system. I'm not going to pretend like I know how to change the school system. Do I think it can be improved and reconstructed to make it broader? Yes. Do I have the answer on how to do it right now? No. I would love to sit down with a group of people, throw out some ideas, and work at that. That's what I want for these kids. I want them to have, not to be so confined in just where they grow up or isolated to their, area and neighborhood where they are. They should know about outside of where they live and different kinds of people and how they live. And that needs to be incorporated as well with the reading and the writing and the math and the science and all of it.
So, to sum that up, how would you put that as far as school board? How would you bring that forward to your other members as far as policy and action?
I would just suggest it that way. Hopefully people would have an idea to build upon that and how we could make it either a separate add-on classes or include it in classes that already exist, expand on it, and how to get it into the system. I don't know. I'm not a teacher. I don't work in the system, so I don't know. I'm willing to try anything, but I do think we could broaden our kids' horizons and their minds a great deal. I think they need it. I think it would make them more tolerant, more accepting. And I don't think we teach enough of that.
Okay. Well, as far as your role too as well, whatever tangible the way that looks like in the policy format, that's what I know that's what you're asking. So we can come back to that too as well, because we got some questions here. We'll come back to that.
Sure.
I want to see how we'll work as far as actually getting it accomplished. Because it sounds great too as well, but I just want to.
Yeah, it sounds good, right?
It's tangible for the voters too as well. The comment section.
Again, we would have to figure out how to implement it in the actual school system, in the curriculum itself. I don't know whether that would be working and talking to the teachers, which I think is not a bad idea to include the teachers in some of these talks.
They would love that. I'll tell you that right now.
Seriously, I have some friends that are teachers. I have a neighbor that's a teacher. I think they'd like to be included in some of these talks. And I think they have some great ideas. I think the board needs to be more open-minded and listen.
Hey, putting power and giving the teachers some of the power too as well.
Yeah.
That's not
I think that, that
is a very interesting idea, because a lot of them feel like they're not being heard as of now. I mean, even Linda recently talking about, and I want to speak for her too as well, but as far as her quitting her teaching just because there's some things that feel like the board didn't really back her up on. But
teachers generally get to choose this career because they're passionate about it, because they're passionate about teaching kids and broadening their horizons and educating them. And that, many teachers will see a kid who's struggling, and the moment that light bulb goes off, there's nothing like it to see a kid finally catch on. And I don't see why we don't listen to the teachers.
EACC, I got questions. Let's get some of these comments too as well. Local history study would be very cool. Talking to that's what Karen's comment too as well. I think it would. I'm not sure exactly how robust or that's even going on now, but that'd be very, very interesting. This man Leftwich, 4 years of finance, you get a Discover card.
Hey,
absolutely not.
I would say I would vote no on that. Do not get a bunch of credit cards.
All right, so Pascal, I'm gonna come back to that comment about the teacher shortage. We kind of talked about that one a little bit, but I want to go back full back to that one too as well. SROs, what's your thoughts on it?
I'm sorry.
SROs.
I'm all for it. Especially right now with what we're seeing around with the school shootings. We're seeing kids inside bringing things they shouldn't be. We're seeing a lot of behavioral issues, a lot of fighting. We had an administrator get hurt.
That was highly unfortunate, absolutely.
And I think an SRO is needed, but they have a purpose to serve. and they need to be there to serve that purpose and that purpose only. I don't think they're in there to break up small quarrels. I don't think they need to be counselors. I don't think teachers need to run to them every time a kid is just bad-mouthing them or whatever. I think they are in there for safety reasons.
Yeah, and obviously everything that popped off in Texas, if somebody said they were against them, it'd be a little bit strange. Now, layer of security there, then not there.
Yeah, like I said,
it can only add to the protection that it provides.
I know the school that my grandchildren went to, there was a threat, and it actually turned out to be somebody that lived in my neighborhood. It was a domestic problem, but he threatened to shoot up every kid in the school.
How long ago was that?
Not too long ago.
Oh.
But it was not publicized, kept very low key. I didn't even know about it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Not. You said a couple years ago, or
no? I'm going to go a month ago.
A month ago?
Yeah.
Recently?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about this.
Yeah, he was.
What happened to this individual?
He's now in federal prison because apparently he had a warrant out in St. Mary's for something else. They caught him on that. And so now with the threat against the kids, he also threatened the person. He was going to go into her work and kill everybody. It was a domestic dispute, but
he threatened the schools.
The school, yeah, he threatened to go in and shoot every kid in the school and shoot everybody at her work. And I'm sorry, maybe that was talking just out of being angry. I don't take that lightly. So yeah, do I think schools need SROs? Yeah. I've also.
What district was this?
2.
Oh my God! All right, go ahead, please keep talking.
And I know that the SROs take away it because I believe they come straight from Charles County law enforcement, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard, people say, well, that takes away from them. We needing them other places. We have, how many schools we have? I have it down here somewhere. If I used to know. 22 elementary schools, 8 middle schools, and 7 high schools.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the size of the school, you may need more than one SRO, in my opinion. Now,
we got the cops for it, or people for it.
I made this comment before, and it didn't go over well, but I'm going to make it again because.
Yeah. Go on.
When I worked for the federal government, we had a lot of. I used to do background checks, so we would have a lot of. We'd have to learn how to read rap sheets and what they meant, and blah 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 blah. So we ended up hiring a bunch of retired police officers because they were familiar with charges, what a misdemeanor was versus a felony, blah blah blah. I don't know that it would be a bad idea to reach out to some retired police officers as a part-time job. Mm-hmm. I don't know that they would be against it.
I don't know that's not happening. I know some SROs are retired on the force, but
as well as some retired military.
Oh, I'm gonna sit here right here on the podcast. I'm not going anywhere else.
Yeah, and
but yes,
that's
absolutely.
The one that went over bad.
Yeah,
because somebody made a comment and said, "Well, I can't even get in the school. What much walk around in my uniform?" I said, "That's not what I said." They would be assigned to the school. Mm-hmm. I mean, they, just. It's no different than wearing a police uniform. If they're in a military uniform, a police uniform, they're in an enforcement uniform, and they would serve the same purpose as an SRO. And I've heard some retired military say that they'd be more than willing to help. Just throwing ideas out there.
Derek, what do you mean non-Charles County no retired SROs? I'm curious. Just clean it up for me a little bit. I want to get to. I want to read some of these comments first before I get to Tammy and Linda. Retired military volunteer for SRO positions. Is that a question, or I said it's a question, but Robin, give me some more. What are you trying to say there? Just out of curiosity. Linda, my niece is an SRO. Thank God she recently intervened when an admin was being attacked in the midst of a fight. Good to see it. Laura Kelly, I believe the SROs are paid for by the sheriff's budget. However, from another source, will probably have another funding source. Everything costs money.
Money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that goes the same for the counselors too. I mean, it's all about budget.
Karen, again, my kids say they love the SROs, and all the kids like to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. SROs also build good rapport with students.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. All right, Angela, I see a comment right there. I'm gonna come. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna come back to that because I want to read Linda's comment. I want to read this to you, Julie, too, as well. So, as far as I asked Linda, she was a teacher. She quit teaching, and from the comment section, said she was a great teacher too, as well. I have no doubt of that either. She said she loved the job, loved her students. However, when the administration's hands were tied by school board policies when it came to discipline, it became difficult for her to teach due to disruptions that they were allowed to permeate in the classroom. Thoughts on that?
I think they need discipline in school. I think I think we've gone too far. Like I said, we've gone from one extreme, like when I was in school, to paddling, expulsion, suspension, sitting out in the hallways, and on it's been a sliding scale that, you have a kid who is talking to their teacher, calling them names in their faces, and a teacher can't do anything. Their hands are tied. They can't do anything. And if they do say something back, many times you have parents that will come in there and defend their child, and what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. I've heard that from many teachers, and I don't know that that's the board or the union. I'm not sure who ties their hands with that. I do think there needs to be set disciplinary procedures in schools. I do.
I'm going to get to those discipline procedures here in a second. No, Derek, what I was saying is that as they've been explored for retired cops to become SROs, that's what you're saying. So I just wanted to just clean it up there. Now, as far as Charles County discipline, all right, so obviously there's things that are completely out of hand that we witnessed for the past school year.
Yeah.
What are some stronger policies that you think that we can enact, or things that you would do in the school board to, avoid, or even as far as levels of punishment? What would you think? What would you do as a school board member when it comes to discipline? What kind of policy would you support or enact?
It would depend on the level of misbehavior. I think if you have a child in your class who is talking to you disrespectfully, a teacher should be able to say, look, I said sit in your seat. Have some disciplinary vocal allowed to speak to that child that way without repercussions from the principal or the school or the parents. Now, when you get into violent bullying behavior, there's going to be two sides to that. There's a reason a kid is bullying, and it's generally related, probably because he's been bullied, he or she has been bullied. It's learned behavior. You also need to think about the children that are being bullied. I've seen kids bullied so badly that they wanted to kill themselves. They didn't want to go back to school. They wanted to go to a different school. So yeah, when you have if you have somebody that is doing bullying, say it's their first offense, okay? You call the parents. You get the parents in there. You talk to them with the child, and you say, "Look, this is unacceptable behavior. It can't. Is there a problem? What's the problem?" And many times, and this is another community issue, like the kid who did the shooting in Texas.
Right.
I've heard and read many times people knew he had a problem. People knew there was something off. Nobody said anything. Many times you'll know a friend, or you'll see a student, or a teacher will know, or somebody will know, and they don't tell anybody ahead of time to get that child help before a problem occurs. So if there's any way to catch it before it happens, definitely say something. Definitely call the parents. Get them. Is there something emotionally going on, first of all? And get help. If you have, say, somebody that's bullying a specific child for a specific reason. First time offense, you call the parents in, you talk to the kid, and you say, look, it can't happen again. You've been warned. It's unacceptable. Why are you doing this? Ask them why. Ask them what the problem is. Do you have a problem with the way they look, the way they act? Why don't you? Or are you just being mean? You try to get to the root of what the issue is. And some kids do need counseling. They do need help. They are doing it because something's going on at home or other reasons. But then again, you just have some kids that are mean, and that's the truth. If it continues, then there has to be consequences. There has to be, okay, you either take them out of that class, and this is going to be, it can't apply to high school because they have different classes. It, like in an elementary, middle school environment, I think they all stay in the same class still. I don't know about middle school anymore. Separate from whoever they're bullying. See how that goes. But if you know what I'm saying?
That doesn't happen in elementary, I can tell you that.
Kids can be mean. Sometimes they're just mean. So, like in elementary school, if you've got a kid bullying one kid in a class, take them to another class, see if that helps. If it doesn't, then deal with. You've got a problem.
That will happen from time to time, but the kid is part of the classroom, and they're not going to lead the teacher. At least in instances I've seen.
Yeah.
Tammy, give me some more information on that too as well. You said a student called you. I'm not gonna repeat that too as well. That's not what I do. Not unusual. What happened to that student? I'm highly curious, Tammy. Highly curious. I'm going to some of these comments too as well. Robin, I've had many friends who are retired from the U.S. Armed Services who would be willing to volunteer to be an SRO at a school near them. That's all. Hell, if I didn't have a job, I would. Why not? I got background too as well.
It was just.
I have no problem at all with that.
Just, looking for some different ideas.
That's what makes the most of PG school security personnel. Leftwich, I know Leftwich, you talk about actually hiring a school security personnel. What's your thoughts on that? Actually, legitimately hiring somebody to actually work the school instead of relying on Charles County Police.
For safety, you mean?
Yes.
If you've got the budget, again, it's going to come down to money. If they have the budget for it, I think it's beneficial. That way you're not taking officers away from the sheriff's office that may be needed somewhere else. I wouldn't, and that again would, as I said, I keep pushing this mic away. Anyway, like if you got a retired police officer or a retired military person, that's not coming out of the sheriff's office budget. That's coming out of the school budget. Everybody's going to scream money, 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 money again. Yeah, I think it would probably be better. I think it may work better because some of this county is, although it's very diverse, it can be very small. And you may have some officers in a school that know a kid or know their family or their background, and may already have a preconceived, you know where I'm going with that, a preconceived notion of the kid. So maybe take it out of the local sheriff's office and put make that a position in the school.
Yeah, and I'm not for I mean, added help, absolutely. I'm looking at Angela's comment too as well. CCO volunteers to the officers, no cost to school. Yeah, but it does come out the sheriff office budget, and it also takes cops off the street. So, if we did have, if school budget was able, I mean, I'm not. If it was able to, I mean, you're saying that yes, you're all for it.
I think it would be, yeah, I think it would be a good idea, and I also think again.
I'm talking about myself, but go on, please.
You may have, like when we had a full office of ex-retired. A lot of them were Metro Police. They didn't make a lot of money. I mean, it was a very low-paid government job, but they did it to help. And you may find that it wouldn't be somebody expecting a huge pay level.
Let's get back to some of these comments too as well. Some good ones here. All right, Tammy said absolutely nothing happened. Absolutely nothing. That's crazy. So, and just, I mean, if you let students just get away with that, 14, 17-year-old students get away with calling a teacher derogatory terms out their name, and then it happens to them.
We have other center. I mean, I'm not, it's not my first pick.
What's up, Zach?
That would not be my first pick, is to automatically send a child to another facility.
Well, not as far as that, but I mean, if it's a student calling, a teacher,
yeah, racial, derogatory, racial, whatever kind. This is what I'm saying back about respect. I mean, kids. Excuse me. I see such a lack of respect from kids because they know there are no consequences to their behavior. And whether that starts at home, most times it does. Unfortunately, we can't get into the home, so the schools are the ones that end up with the brunt of it. We need to figure out what kind of consequences would match the misbehavior. If I sit here and say expulsion, your comments are gonna light up your whole screen.
Yeah, we don't do expulsion in Charles County.
Yeah, and nor it doesn't do any good. I mean, it's not beneficial to the child.
Mm-mm.
I don't agree with it either. It didn't do any good in my day. But there has to be something, whether you make them stay after and clean, give them chores to do in the school, clean the bathrooms, do something. You did this, you're staying after, you're going to make them do something. I don't know, but there needs to be repercussions for that kind of behavior. And the schools need to, the board, the union, need to allow teachers to discipline. The teacher's hand, I feel bad. I don't know that you could pay me enough to be a teacher right now because of the way their hands are tied between that and the way they're allowed to teach.
They are a blessing to the community.
They really are.
Derek Terry, the problem with the Board of Education Charles County discipline policy is that MSD has mandated there's no zero tolerance policy, where the Board of Education in a lot of cases are using the zero tolerance policy. It's on my public Facebook, and I've suggested before, I think every school should have a zero bullying tolerance. Sorry, I do. Because, again, we concentrate on the bullier so much, and we do that a lot, and I understand that they may have trauma and emotional issues, and most times they do. Get the child help. In the meantime, you have other kids that are also suffering greatly because of what that one child is doing. So we're giving this attention and trying not to traumatize the bullier even more, while you've got these other kids who are, now they're traumatized. They don't want to come back to school. They're scared. They don't want to come back to school. They'd rather kill themselves than come back to school. That's a huge problem.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you never want to get to the point where you got.
I've heard it, and I've heard it. I have friends that have kids in middle and high school, and I've heard it. I've heard stories. I know how bad it can get.
Laura asks, "What is your opinion on the stalled implementation of the Fresh Start program?"
Well, I'm not sure what that is.
So, Fresh Start was under Kim Hill. She wanted to essentially take out troubled kids, bullies, we would say for lack of a better word, that were having issues as far as the school. But they would take them out and put them in a different facility. I believe that's the last part I said was correct. It was actually I was talking with someone about this today too as well. It was I want to say like maybe kindergarten to like second grade. I want to say the age group was comment section. Clean up for me if I'm wrong, but it was illegal to take kids out of school there, even though they was spent like $2 million on it. So that was the whole issue with that. So as far as back to that question, what do you think of the failed implementation on it? Do you think it should have been a thing, or do you think that I believe it was considered, or it was illegal
to take
there it
them
is.
out?
Yep, Laura. It was a pull-out program for elementary schools students who needed intense behavioral support. So, Laura, you said that a much better way than I did. If you want to,
There was
be a PR person
a
for
facility.
me, I got a job for you.
A facility, and maybe they don't do. Maybe I am confused as to what they do. It's called the Judy Center. It's in Waldorf, and they only work with and it's not school-age children, but it's small children from birth age to the age of up to kindergarten. They work with parents. They work with children with behavioral issues, young parents, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it's in the blueprint that they are trying to get, I don't know the exact number, but I'm going to say 9 or 10 more centers like that in the county. So why couldn't we have something like that for younger kids in school?
How long would you take them out for?
Depending on how bad they were. I mean, depending on how deep the problem was.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, and these centers are designed with professionals in there that handle that type of behavior to correct it. And I would imagine if we did it for school-age children, there would be some type of education along with it. Now, it would depend on the severity of the behavior. If they see the child improving, put them back in the school. If they don't see any improvement, keep working with the child. I don't know that you can really just kind of say, okay, 10 days, you're good. 20 days, you're good.
It really depends on the curriculum that's enacted with that, and obviously it didn't first start. I mean, the program didn't actually pop off like that, but I'm curious what exactly. I would love to see the curriculum for that. I'd love to see how not inclusive. What's the word I'm looking for? Whatever. I'm not going to. Whatever. I'm looking to see how extensive. Jamila, how you doing? Look how extensive this program,
and effective it is. Yeah, sure,
exactly.
Sure. I pulled it up by accident the other night.
And also, too, as well, is that the teachers got to be there. I mean, God bless you. To deal with all the county's problems in one spot, especially at that age group too, as well.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Karen's comment on that too, as well. They said they sent something in Massachusetts. Go on, please.
Oh, I thought you were gonna.
No. I kind of cut you off right there. I'm sorry.
I kind of forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, I think we should have. I think we should have. Like I said, expulsion doesn't work. Kicking kids out of school doesn't work. It makes it worse. Then what are they? They're on the street. What are they doing? Or they're back in a bad situation. When I did pull up and it was by accident, it came through a news feed and it came up under Indian Head, but they don't serve Indian Head, so I have no idea why it showed up there. They serve. There's I'm not going to go. I have a million pieces of paper here. I actually wrote down what areas they serve, but they're located on Copley Avenue in the old part of St. Charles, and I know they cover certain districts that live within, like, say, the Eva Turner Elementary School and a few other schools. But then again, they're not school-age children. That it's age birth up until 5. I think that would be a great idea to have for school-age kids, to have a facility like that, a behavior facility, to work with them on whatever issues they're having. If they're improving and they're doing better, then put them back in school.
So you are for, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
taking the kids out of the school
and then place them in different programs. And
if it's severe enough, yeah, yes.
Okay.
So
pretty much a Fresh Start Initiative program,
if that's what you want to call it. I don't know if it's a fresh start. I would call it more of a, help. The kids need help. But I just can't see not doing something with one or two kids that are causing and wreaking havoc in a school, on teachers, on children, and just letting them get by with it because maybe they have some emotional issues, and I'm sure they do. Let them get help. Get them the help they need, whether it be a facility like the Judy Center. Have somebody work with them, and if they improve, put them back in the school.
So just to clean up about the Judy Center too, so I know you mentioned that a few times. Laura has a comment here. It's a state program from birth to kindergarten, provides education and parenting support for families.
Yes.
So can that be used as far as taking a kid from school? Is that the purpose of it? I'm not very familiar with this at all. Laura, if you want to provide some more information, please do.
Yeah, Laura.
Pascal, I got you. I ain't forget.
Like I said, I just found it the other night while I was scrolling through some stuff, and I found it very interesting. They have parent workshops. They do a number of different things. They have parent workshops. They have parent and child workshops. Then they just have children workshops. It's not I do not believe it's like a daycare or necessarily an educational center. I think it's more of, maybe you have young parents with children that don't know how to parent or need help. I don't really know. Like I said, I just ran across it. Maybe Laura knows more about it and can speak better to it than I can.
Angela, is there an alternative school for middle and high school? I believe Steedham. Yeah, that's middle through, I think it's 6 through 12.
And I'm not sure.
I believe so.
What the
Let me know if I'm wrong.
What the Gwynn Center exactly serves for. And then there was and
Laura, I got like half an answer from you right there. Go on, please. Stacy, one child should not disrupt an entire class. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I completely agree with that, and it happens a lot. It's amazing what 2 or 3 students would do to a class of 30.
And generally, you'll find, and that's a lot of times you can tell the difference between just a bad kid and a disturbed kid.
Well, and that actually leads to another question Pascal had too as well. It all flows together. Restorative practices. What's your thoughts on that?
I've heard that talked about quite a bit, and I researched it, and to me it just sounded like you keep the kid in school and you just work with them, counseling them in the school.
We're coming back to it, Tammy. Go on.
Is that correct? Is that how that works?
As far as restorative practices,
yes.
I mean, you're talking basically like, how do you, like, kind of like rehabilitation, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, not everything is so much as it needs to be a discipline issue. Like, kid messed up, you know, send him home for a week. This is using as an example, but how do we actually get to the root cause of an issue? with a child?
That's here we go. They need therapy. They need just somebody a professional that can get through to them, to talk to them. Because most times a child and they will reach an age that it comes out. Most children with early childhood trauma will start to show it as they get older. And a lot of times it will come out, especially in, sorry, this is probably going to get hits, in males. It comes out in more bullying, violent behavior. As in girls, it comes out in more of a doormat, people-pleasing behavior. And that takes professional help to understand that that's what the problem is, that there could be some serious childhood trauma that has not been dealt with, or problems at home that need to be dealt with. So again, it comes down to, do I think any child should be thrown to the curb and be forgotten about? No, absolutely not. I just don't think we have... It comes again to the money and the resources to get the help.
I'm gonna come back to that in a second, Laura.
I'm not trying to give vague answers.
No. Yeah, we're good. We're good. I'm just gonna read this comment. I'm gonna come right back to it. The Judy Center would not really be a resource. It's about addressing the individual behavior issues. They have caseworkers. They help families prepare their children for school. They have centers in a few elementary schools in Charles County and other counties, and they have services like play groups and professional development for caregivers. So
before they go to school, right?
So this is so much where like kids messing up, drop them off over here, not someone else's problem. So thank you, Laura, for providing information for that.
Yeah, thank you. Because I like I said, I ran across it just the other night. It intrigued me. I didn't know what it was. I actually thought it was school age kids, and then it was clearly like before you start school. We need, it takes money, it takes community, it's going to take individuals that are willing to help. It's going to take parents paying more attention to what's going on in their kids' lives, being more involved. I don't have all the answers. I don't think any kid is just bad just because they want to be bad. A lot of it, they don't even realize where it's coming from. They don't know where that anger is coming from. They don't know why they're mad. They don't know why they're bullying. They don't know why they don't like that person. Because it's coming from a long time ago and it's never been addressed or dealt with. And they may not have the parents that know how or even realize it. That was the case with me. My parents didn't realize I had severe childhood trauma, so it was never dealt with. And it didn't hit me until, I was in AP class. I was in AP classes all through middle school, my beginning of high school, 11th grade. I just started screwing up, and as I became an adult, it hit me hard. A lot of things, as you get older, you're like, something's not making sense.
Well, yeah, if you recognize something, you got to take care of it as soon as you can.
So, and
you never know how it may materialize as you get of age.
Yeah. So, like I said, they would need somebody that is able to hopefully get through to the child. Maybe have the child open up and tell them what's wrong if something's wrong.
Well, children are not going to just come out and speak.
No. And it's going to take and it can't be it'll never be their parents. 9 times out of 10, it's not.
Depends on the relationship.
It depends on the relationship. And if it hasn't been addressed at home and the parents don't realize it, I doubt they're going to go to their parents now. Sometimes it takes another trusted adult or a stranger that shows care and interest to make a child open up.
Let's read it. Let's get to the comment section. All right. So, Pascal, coming to your question now. All right, so school board talked about disparities and suspensions amongst black and brown students. As far as that too as well, Pascal, drop a link so there's no confusion amongst anybody. How do you hope to tackle that as far as disparities and suspensions amongst students of different ethnic backgrounds? We think the root cause could be too as well.
I don't. I assume she's applying that black and brown children are treated worse than Caucasian children, or more disciplined.
As far as the board, school board,
the school board.
Yeah. I'll have her drop the article and then. But just
that would
overall
that would be helpful. I will say though, the ratio of students in Charles County, black and brown students, it's 80% to 20% Caucasian children as well. So I don't know that I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not. But I would like to see what article Pascal is referring to.
I want to.
I got that stat off of
just something to refer to. But obviously, I mean, Charles County is demographics changing here too as well. But I'll need to Pascal, give me some more information too as well, because I'll talk on it. But I just need to see something as far as there it is right there. Not applying anything as a board. No, there it is right there. All right. It's a YouTube. I'm not about to click on a YouTube link. Pascal, sum that up for me a little bit. Give me some more information. We'll have a conversation, but give me some talking points on it.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem addressing it. I'm not exactly sure what she's referring to.
I mean, if it's not. I mean, it's from the board meeting too as well. So I mean, we'll go through it as soon as the information pops out on it.
Okay.
I have no problem at all having these conversations. All right, so Tammy, she says that a lot of these ideas you have, I think we should have. Now let's get to implementation. So you have a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts, but how do you actually plan on implementing into it as far as the board goes?
Well, we have to get them through the superintendent as well. I mean, I guess Navarro would have to be on board with the ideas. And like I said, I think we should bring the teachers in as well and see how they feel about them. And maybe they could help the board decide how to implement them, how to get them into the classes, and how to get them into the curriculum. I've not been on the board before. I've not been a teacher. I don't know. I don't know how to set up a curriculum. I can give you ideas of how I think things should be done and put into schools. I can make a suggestion to the board. Hopefully somebody would have more experience in the system of how it goes, but it has to go. I mean, Dr. Navarro would still have to go along with it. And according to the blueprint, I think Maryland is going to have to go along with any curriculum changes.
Blueprint's that's already talked for. Can't really do anything about that one.
Yeah.
Let me ask you like this. So what is one thing you would like to bring to the board as far as policy get passed and implemented in Charles County?
I would like to see a disciplinary program put in and implemented somehow in some way, and figure out how, where, and how far to go with it. I can make suggestions like I did, maybe facilities, take the kid out of the school and have them get some counseling for a while, see if that helps. I don't believe in expulsion or paddling or any of that. But I do sometimes, you have to consider if you have one or two children repeating the same pattern and causing the same chaos, there's 10 to 20 other kids that are suffering as well. So it's an ebb and flow, but it has to be dealt with. And kids have to know that they just cannot get by with anything anymore. And whether it be as far as, the consequences to it, giving them some type of responsibility to take care of in the school, a job they have to do to stay after, I read this somewhere. School actually makes the kids stay and clean the gymnasium or the bathrooms or whatever if they're misbehaving something. I'm not talking anything severe, but there has to be something. It can't just, a kid cannot just act any way they want to, talk to their teacher any way they want to, bully a kid, be violent, call your parents, sit in the office with the principal, get a slap on the wrist, and the next day they go back to school and it just all goes right back to where it was.
So, all right, so as far as policy you bring up, school board, all that, you said obviously you have to get your peers and Navarro on board, Dr. Navarro on board too as well. Mm-hmm. What would actually be your platform idea policy that you would do? What is something you would bring to the board to be like, hey, let's take a vote on this?
As far as discipline?
As far as anything.
Anything.
Yeah, it's a platform.
Anything, right? I think we need to come up with a disciplinary program, whether it be, like I said, giving them responsibilities, making them do something, making them answer to something. Like I said, kicking them out doesn't do anything. I also think teachers need to be more involved. I think we need to have, maybe during some of the board meetings, ask the teachers to join us.
Well, I'm talking as far as like bringing policy, like something to vote on, like getting teachers involved isn't actually, hey, let's take a vote.
Okay.
5-4. All right, now Charles County Schools, make it happen.
Okay. I would highly suggest that we hire more counselors. I would highly suggest we find some way to get a facility for our youth that are troubled, when they're causing trouble, and take them there, get them help, and bring them back. Let's take a vote. Does anybody agree with that? Along those lines.
I think it's a little more nuanced than that as far as how it goes, but I'm not on board.
I'm flying by the seat of my, like I said, this is all new for, I don't really know how to implement or suggest a plan, but I don't know. I don't know about that part.
Well, for that one, I would suggest that. I mean,
I'll take all the suggestions you got.
I would suggest that. I mean, that's whatever it is that your job entails as far as school board, mm-hmm. and I'm not here to. Well, maybe I am. I would find out that process.
Yeah.
See exactly what it takes to actually get things passed and how the board works too as well for that. But I'm not gonna get involved in that because I want to come back to another question too as well. But go on as I read some of these comments. I'm looking at your conversation right now, comment section. Go ahead, Julie.
I also don't think it would be a bad idea to have parents. I know teachers are short on aides in their classes to help them. I don't think it would be a bad idea to have parent volunteers be able to come in and help them when available. Now I know that is going to take, you can't just have anybody come into a school, and I completely agree. I don't want anybody coming into my grandkids' classroom. So that again involves a little bit of a background check on anybody that's going to be dealing with the kids in the classroom. But I think it would be nice to have more parental involvement inside the schools.
Yeah. Someone mentioned up here earlier today, well, I forgot who it was. Was it Laura? Someone at a PTO meeting, you only had one parent there. I mean, obviously everybody's busy and doing things. I mean, myself too as well. Coaching, podcasting, kind of hard to, get up to a lot of these meetings like I would love to. But yeah, parental involvement, yes. But it's, well, I don't, we'll see. We'll see how that goes as far as, but I'm looking more so for like actual, like, hey, this is my idea. We need to do this right here. Boom, done. Because everything, I mean, it sounds great too as well, but going back to Tammy's question, she's just curious, how can you actually get it done? Or how would you actually go about getting it done? Because I don't think no one here is disagreeing with you. It's just more so just like...
I totally understand.
But I'm all for it. Hey, parental involvement, like I said, I'm all for it. I am all for that right there. I think the more and more you get parents involved in schools, only the better the school is going to be.
I also think parents also have a right to have a say in their child's curriculum, what their child will be exposed to, what's taught to their children. That I've heard a lot of that from parents. I don't, that's neat. That's not. I don't think that's something that can be implemented to the board, though. I mean, it's not going to happen.
I'm looking at these comments too as well. Hey, comment section. I would love to have this conversation, but I need something tangible to actually talk on it for. Give me some numbers. Give me that report. I have this conversation. I have no problem at all. I had it with Wilkes and Bowling. That's not a problem that I have no issue diving into. I just need some numbers on that too as well, because I want to see what this board report is, because I'm interested. I'm not familiar with this. Karen, Julie, you don't have all the answers. You sound open to making the school the best it could be for our children. Making the schools operate properly takes more than just one person on the school board. Absolutely. It is a team that we, the voters of Charles County, are voting for. Let me see something real quick. Sitting at an hour 40. All right. That's exactly where I like to get at right now. All right, Julie. All right. Voter doesn't know if they're going to vote for you or not. How would you sell them on your platform to get this individual to vote for you in the primary and possibly the general?
First of all, I want to listen, and there's 3 people I want to listen to the most, and it'll be a parent, a child, and the teacher. And I think if we could listen better to the parents and the teachers and the kids, we'll get a better idea of what the problems are going on in the schools. And maybe we could get a better plan going on as to how to fix it. Mm-hmm. I've reached out, openly on my Facebook, teachers, tell me what you think is the biggest problem going on in your classrooms. And I didn't get very many responses. Parents, what do you think is the biggest problem with the board right now? Mm-hmm. I already knew what that was. They feel unheard. I spoke in front of the board a few times. Half of them looked like they were asleep. I got no response, no answer. Your 3 minutes are up. Thank you. Bye. And I'm like, for real? I've written them emails, no response. I think as a board of education, again, just like every other position in this county, commissioners, all of us, we work for the community. We work for the kids. We work for the parents. We need to listen to them, and I think we need to listen to the teachers. I mean, nobody's listening to the teachers, and I feel bad for them. Their hands are tied every which way but sideways. And the bottom line is, if we can't all work together again, and I'm looking at this as a community-wide issue because that's what it is. If we all, these kids are going to be our future leaders. They're going to be the ones running the country. We're going to be old, okay? They're going to be the ones saying, you old people don't need, Social Security or any of this. We need to teach these kids how to be respectful, responsible, tolerant, accepting, and open-minded, out-of-the-box thinking, productive, responsible kids. And that doesn't come from just one teacher or a parent or a board member. It's going to come from a multitude of places. And if we all can't, as adults, I'm not sure we're all setting the best examples. The more we're divided and the more we're not, trying to say we want our kids to act like that, we're not setting the best we all need to learn first. We all need to learn to work together and set a good example for the kids, and then work together for the best plan for the kids. And that includes, like I said, listening to the parents, listening to the teachers, and listening to the kids, because they're the ones that knows they're in the schools. The kids and the teachers are in the schools. They know what's going on, and the parents have every right to have their say. That's their kids. We need to listen. And from that, maybe we can come up with some plans to make it easier on the teachers and get a better education for our kids.
I mean, that's what we're here for at the end of the day, right? To make sure
I know that all sounded like, hey, nice, yeah, that sounds all great.
No, that's your
pretty, but and it does. And I've said this from the get-go, and this is why I've not ever been in an office. I've never ran for an office. I've not been on the board. I don't know really what it takes to get a plan in there, but I'm willing to sit down and work with everybody on that board to do the best I can to make positive changes, to make better changes for our kids, for a better future for them. So they can live in a world that isn't so divided and hateful.
I'm listening to you and looking at the comments too as well.
Yeah, I'm not looking at the comments.
No, you already talked about that with me beforehand. I would love to have this conversation, but I'm not going to hold Julia hostage for it. But this is what I will ask. I'm not going to hold you hostage while I wait for this. But whenever that information does pop out, I'll post it to BNY.
I'll be happy to. I mean, I would love. Maybe
I'll tag you in it.
Yeah, maybe I saw and didn't notice it. I'll be happy to look at it and give you my opinion and tell you what I think. Again, like I said, I'm not exactly sure what it says. I'd be happy to look at it and tell you what I think. But I don't know exactly what Pascal is asking.
Well, it comes from
a report that
from the school board. I like to see the report too as well. I would love to, because I didn't know anything about that until just tonight. So
yeah, I'd be very interested to see it.
Well, when we get our hands on that, like I said, I'll post it to BNY. And I'll tag you in it,
and I'll post it publicly on yours, mine, wherever.
Oh, trust me, you're not one to shy away from having a
long
Facebook comment.
I'm never for a loss of opinion.
Yeah, but for the record too, as well. For the record, as far as everything in the comment section, if there is a disparity and the numbers aren't cooked right, numbers aren't cooked. That's what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. If the actions are not the crime, I don't want to say with kids, but the discipline when it comes to just based on what someone looks like, then yeah, that's absolutely wrong.
There's a big problem there, absolutely.
Yeah, and if someone disagrees with that, then I mean that says more about them than anything else. But I have no room. I have no tolerance for that at all. I never have. But you and I have had a conversation before I sat down. Yeah. I don't. Like I said, it's. I have no tolerance for it. None. Yeah.
There's no reason for it.
And if someone feels otherwise, I mean, feel free. Say it. And then we'll all know where you stand it. But I don't know. Charles County is an interesting place. I grew in PG County. So this place, it's a little bit different here when it comes to
Charles County's different.
Racial tension. It's quite unfortunate for some of the things I've seen. I've been all across the world, been everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't want to walk on my backyard. I could tell Allie when she was here, like I don't want to walk in my backyard and see Twitter out in the streets. So it's a community we have to.
Things have got.
We have to live together. We have to work together.
I feel. I mean, we were talking about like when I was in school, when I was growing up. You also have to remember we didn't have social media. We didn't have all these outlets that these kids have. These kids are up against so much more than we were coming up with. I mean, you're not even bullied, you're cyberbullied, you're this bull. I mean, it's coming from everywhere. They're getting information, false information off the internet, just because somebody they like said something. It could be wrong. They're just up against a lot. And I'm also going to bring something else up that just kind of just fell off the discussion trail somewhere. We still have a really bad drug epidemic in this county. We have youths. We're losing a lot of kids to drugs, and something needs to be done. I don't know what I know that we have in Waldorf they have a new rehabilitation center there for drugs or whatever. Again, it comes down to education. I still think there's a shroud of shame surrounded by that, which makes people afraid to ask for help. And that needs to go away, because it's nothing to be shameful about. If you need help, ask for help. You shouldn't be afraid because people have a certain judgment about it. But we have a problem. There's a problem. And it needs to be addressed. We need education, and these kids need to be educated on it.
I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to argue with that at all. Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what the future holds with a lot of this stuff too as well. Obviously, you don't want kids on drugs and things of that sort. That goes a little bit beyond your scope, but having those things on your mind too as well.
I've seen it. I've gone to too many funerals. I've had friends who've had to bury their children. It's not pretty.
Yeah, same here. Absolutely.
And like I said, and I'll be very honest, and I'll say this publicly. Like I said, this was not my choice my first choice. I'm going to run for school board for the obvious reasons. But I do want to help. If I don't get past the primaries or the generals, the best I can do is hope and pray that we get people on the board for the right reasons that will do and make policies that project us in the right direction. And that's the best I can ask for.
I'm with it. Alexander Dudley, how you doing? How you doing today? Just looking at some of the comments before we get up out of here. Pascal, I'm digging through the board docs as soon as first of all, the board doc, the website's changed a little bit as far as Charles County goes too as well. So the government is, what I'm saying, it's changed a little bit to be a little bit easier to search through the board docs. But I understand, Pascal, those board docs digging through it are no joke. So,
that is no joke, because I've tried to find some stuff on there, and I was like, like, what in the world?
That stuff is very deep. So.
I couldn't. I mean, I was looking for some statistic on some other things, and I'm like, I don't even know where to look. I don't even know where to start. Yeah,
but as soon as she shared, I'll find it. I'll email Dr. Navarro for it if I can by tonight. It was actually yesterday. Said, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
it has to be getting information to me. I'll post it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it myself, because I just have no tolerance for that.
Board docs is fun. Good Lord. I was on there yesterday looking for something. I was like, man, this is not. But whatever. This is being rehauled. So these are the last one publicly available. Yep, there it is right there. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to take a look at it. I'm going to go from there. Cool.
Thank you, Pascal.
All right. Let's see. We're about an hour 50, almost 2 hours. 2 hours. How do you feel?
I feel like I've been here 20 minutes.
Yeah.
How weird is that? I was scared to death sitting in this chair.
Yeah. That chair's been occupied by a lot of interesting people, but no, I appreciate everybody and yourself that come on this podcast. Take questions from myself.
And like I said, if I don't have an answer, I'll tell you, I don't have an answer. If nothing else, I'll be truthful and honest with you.
Mm-hmm. And in the comment section too as well. Thank you very much for everything. The SY 1819 report, Jamila. There it is. Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Cool. I'm gonna take a look at it. That's a PDF too as well. Yeah. Michael Leftwich, good job downtown, Julie Brown. So they
Michael,
call you?
you know how long I've been called that? I was actually going to use that on my slogan on my signs, but I was like, nah.
It ain't too late. It is not too late. All right, more articles coming in too as well. Okay. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to take a look at that, and we'll go from there. Like I said, I'll never run from any conversation. We'll definitely have that, but we'll...
I'll have a conversation with anybody, and I looking forward to seeing the report, and it's nothing I'd shy away from. You know, if it's... I'm not for that at all. There's no room nor tolerance for that.
Let's do it. Karen, thank you both for your time. Enjoy this very much. Karen, thank you very much for your work in the comment section too as well, for keeping us informed. Let's see. Doug, she's been called that forever. Robin, we called it for a very long time. Love to see it. So, Rob, I gotta hit you up. I gotta ask you a few things. But besides that, that's it. Julie, thanks again for coming. Let's see. Oh, announcements. Absolutely always forget this part too as well. Who we got coming on here next? I'm working the podcast as far as next week. First of all, there's 3 and 4 days. I'm gonna take if I could, Charles County, if you don't mind, we're gonna go ahead and take the weekend off. You know, we're gonna. I think
you should.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a few things around the county with the community too as well. Enjoy myself. If you're out and about, feel free to hit me up.
District 2, if you see a weird lady standing in the parking lot, don't be scared. It's just me.
Don't get by a car, please. Shout out to District 2. Let's see. Next on the podcast, I'm still working one for the 5th to the 6th. I'm still working that one, so I'm not going to announce that one yet. Samichi Thomas, I believe I'm saying the name right. I hate if I jack that up, but I believe that's right. I'm terrible with names, so that's just on me.
That's all right. I mean, You can't pronounce everybody's name, right?
Angela, I will cut my grass. You see my lawnmower sitting out there.
He's trying it. I mean, it looks fine. He's good.
It's not up to standard. Not to Leftwich Derek Terry standards. So I gotta fix that.
This man's got a lot on his plate. I have the utmost respect for him.
Also, I gotta replace the belt in the lawnmower. So shout out to Ace Hardware on La Plata. Yeah. Let's see. So Samichi Thomas on Thursday the 7th, and I did mention this last podcast. I know most people caught it. No, I haven't even announced this one yet. I didn't even put this on Facebook. I was going to, but I'm still waiting. But Commissioner Ruben Collins will be on. That's right, on the 13th, and BJ Bolin will be on the 14th. And then we'll be back up here the 19th with Ali Rock and Derek Terry for election night coverage in Charles County.
Awesome.
Yes, a lot of work going on here too as well.
You've done an awesome job. This is, I mean,
only as far as the guests we bring on.
But honestly, I by watching this, I think you get more information about the candidates than you do anywhere else, because it's a one-on-one. People ask what they want to know. You ask questions, and we're in the hot seat. You can answer them or you can't answer them.
Miss Thomas is very close. I knew I was wrong too as well. But I appreciate you. You hear this entire time. Did someone just tag you in? I'm just curious. Just very curious. So, Stacy, I think you said we're good for the 21st too as well. So you be 2 days after the election. All these forums I see have terrible audio. But we've had our own issues too here as well. But hopefully our audio issue days are past us. So hey, look, when it comes to running the podcast, well, one thing about the forum, yes, okay, all right, Stacy, we locked that in. That's good. Let's do APN. Said I've been here. Okay, good. Glad to have you. All right, man. It's always people just lurking around, just watching. Love to see it. One thing about these forums too as well, they're running through Facebook Live or YouTube Live or whatever. Then I get it. You should see the very first podcast of us when we started off. It wasn't the greatest as far as audio, but we improve. We can go from there. So. Nah, I know, Angela. I know. I'm just giving my my 2 cents with that. I understand the struggle. But if the formers want any help, I mean, just hit me up. Look for Charles County, for the government, as far as the people and getting the votes out. I'll work pro bono for this election cycle.
just this election.
Just like they say.
And then you're done.
Just like saying the wire, the price of a brick is going up. So no, but Julie, let's get out of here. Thank you very much, Charles County, and we'll see you on Facebook and all over social media too as well.
All right,
Julie, appreciate you again.
Thank you, Ricky.
Let's get out of here.
All righty.
What's going on with you?
Yo, another day in the lab, baby. So it's always a good day.
Oh,
it's always a good day when we in the lab. You want policing to be better in your communities? The best policing that you can that can happen in any community are people that's actually from the community and that.
Once again, Rick, host BNY podcast, now known as What Happened Week with BNY. Dev, how you feeling, man?
I'm in here.
What's good? Comment section.
Yeah.
Do we drag our people down when sometimes they don't deserve it? For sure, absolutely. In this situation, this man deserves every single dragging that we can do because this is not an example of us.
But you got the angles. You got the knowledge of the game, bro.
This is where you're getting at, the IQ.
Down. Like he's telling you what's going on. He was a bad husband. He was just doing things his way. He's apologizing to his wife, like, yo.
Pat ourselves on the back for that one because if you ain't give yourself awards, I mean, who is?
Yeah, no boy.
Hey.